Hey guys, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. We've got a special episode for you today because on the show, we've got three-time PGA Tour winner Russell Henley is going to be joining us in a few minutes. I'm excited for that, Mike.
Can't wait. Big fan.
Big fan. And here's a guy who produces consistently every year. You feel like he's always in the mix. He's made it into the FedExCup Playoff the last 8 years in a row, and it's undoubtedly going to be his 9th season because he's coming into the FedExCup Playoff as of when we're recording this episode in 44th place.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all, man. So that means we could probably see him through a couple of rounds. I hope he wins. I hope he makes it to East Lake. I hope he does well.
No doubt about it. He's been a producer for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who, it's just, he's got a game that's just consistent all the way around. And he had some real standout moments this year. I mean, for one, he held the lead, or at least was tied for the lead in some way in the first 3 rounds of the U.S. Open this year. So who knows? Big things could be coming down his way. But one thing I really want to talk to him about and I want to dive into is some of these equipment decisions that they make. Because, you and I just now on the cusp of getting fit for some new irons. I know we're always chomping at the bit when something new comes out. The tour players get things a little earlier than we do. But he, as of right now, is in that transitional period, looking at the new Titleist T-Series. And so I want to get some of his thinking on that. What goes into that?
That's what I am. I'm curious, what pushes them over the edge to make the change?
Right.
Because some guys do get comfortable with the equipment that's working for them, and they may not want to change.
Yeah.
So
it could be interesting. And the other thing, before we get Russell on the show, I want to remind everybody that we're right in the thick of it, of the Golficity Virtual Open. This is the 4th annual. It's the 4th year we're doing it. And we set a personal goal of saying we want to get 2,000 people to play in the tournament this year. In previous years, including last year, we had 1,600 of you participate. So we want to get you guys out there playing. You can play through the entire month of August. So if you're listening to this, it's still August when you're listening to this, then you still have time to sign up. You can go to golficity.com/open. Mike, I'm excited because this year we've got over $2,000 in door prizes that we're going to be giving away.
yeah, they're pretty sweet prizes.
They're some good stuff. We've got
there's an OptiShot simulator, a mobile launch monitor.
$500 Rapsodo mobile launch monitor in there, and everyone has equal chance of winning. We are going to have both a net and a gross leaderboard, and so we're going to play. It's fun to see yourself moving up and down the leaderboard. I love that live leaderboard feature, but the good news is no matter how you play, really, it's just about getting out there and playing. It's all door prizes. As long as you register at golficity.com/open and log your round, you're in the running for some of these prizes. And in September, we'll announce all of our winners. But we always have fun with this, and we always have fun with it in the Golficity Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of the Golficity Facebook group, hop in there, join. It's free. In previous years, a lot of members of the group have used that as an opportunity to link up and play their virtual open round together, which is another thing we like about it. It gets people not only out there playing, but also getting out there playing with some new people, making some new friends. That's what it's all about. Always, like I said, always a fun time and always excited to do the virtual open every year.
I'm going to politely ask Russell if he will log around. Maybe pick one of the rounds at the upcoming WGC. Have your caddy just log it for you.
There you go.
This is where we could say Russell Henley participated in the Golficity Virtual Open.
Imagine that. That would be something. I would imagine he'd probably win it.
Career low round, 61.
Yeah, nobody's beating him there.
So, yeah.
Although we have had some low rounds, and we've had some low
questionable
rounds. Some have been questionable. There have been some that have had to be DQ'd.
Right. You don't just shoot 54s. It just doesn't happen.
No.
Right.
I think some of them, it might have just been an error in entering. I think some people think they're entering score related to par because we had one guy one year put 7 hole-in-ones.
Yeah.
It's just no. But we run it all through the 18 Birdies app. They do a great job the way that
just put your
app
gross
is set
score
up, so
in. That's all you have to do. Don't try to calculate. It'll do it all for you.
The good news is it does everything for you. Don't worry if you don't have a handicap or you don't know your handicap because you don't need it for this tournament. We use the Peoria system,
right,
and it takes care of everything for you. So we've taken all the excuses off the table. You've got none left. Get in there, golficity.com/open.
Just trust the system. Frank Peoria put a lot of time and effort in creating the Peoria system.
There's no way his first name was Frank.
I'm running with it.
We're going to have to
Google that. It just sounds like it would be a Frank.
We're going to have to Google that.
We'll Google it.
All right, let's not keep Russell waiting any longer. I want to do a quick word from our sponsors. and then we're going to hop right into our interview with 3-time PGA Tour winner Russell Henley. So first, I want to thank Titleist and the whole team at Voki. Bob Voki, he's always on the quest for better design wedges. It truly is an endless quest, and if we've had the opportunity and the real good fortune of meeting Bob, and you just sense the passion when you talk to him. He's always trying to outdo himself, and you see how closely he and his entire team listen to feedback from golfers of all levels. It's something we got a chance to talk to him about, from the PGA Tour. I know Russell Henley himself, games of Voki wedges, all the way down to guys like ourselves, just everyday weekend grinders. They're always checking in to see if new ways that they can improve the Voki offering, and you've always improving that feel, function. It's just something that just seems to get better and better. And the new Voki Sm8 wedges are the height of innovation. They offer 6 tour-proven sole grinds, precisely cut grooves, and a reimagined center of gravity that leaves you with a club face that simply wants to square up. I could not be happier with my Sm8s. We just got back from filming another series down around Atlantic City. We played 5 rounds in 6 days. Can't even tell you the difference it makes on the scorecard, just being able to rely on those wedges in the short game.
And hey,
it's been great.
Wasn't the wedges feel a lot more comfortable up in this New Jersey turf versus Pinehurst? Like, we felt like we belonged. We were fitted properly for where we normally play. It was night and day.
That's it, man. It's all about getting fit, getting that right bounce and grind. So put yourselves in the hands of a good fitter and go check out the Sm8s.
Absolutely. And want to thank FootJoy. Guys, FootJoy has been the #1 shoe on tour for 75 years. I mean, they were innovating then, and they continue to innovate today with a simple goal to elevate their game so that you can elevate yours. They build shoes for every player, every swing, every stance, and everywhere that you might play, whether it's the style and performance of the Premier Series, the precision fit of the Hyperflex, or the traction and comfort of the Pro SL. Just got my new ones, by the way, with the red and blue and white. Oh, man, they're so nice. Yeah. Or any of their #1 shoes. FootJoy offers the golf shoes that are right for your golf game. FootJoy is passionate about the progress, and this is the best their game has ever looked. Guys, check out their shoes. They're doing phenomenal things. Find the right shoe for you. You can use their FootJoy shoe finder. It's such a cool tool. Visit it at footjoy.com/shoe finder.
All right, guys, let's jump right into our interview with Russell Henley. All right, guys, so we're very fortunate to have on the Golf Podcast 3-time PGA Tour winner Russell Henley. Russell, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, how's it going? Thank you for having me. Excited to chat with you.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you. And I want to dive right into it. It's the Olympics this week. It's a rare week off from the PGA Tour, especially from your busy schedule. And we've got the FedExCup Playoffs. They're coming up just in a couple of weeks. Currently, as of when we're recording this, you're in 44th place. So give us a little bit of an idea of what's going on for you right now, how you're preparing, especially, given having the week off this week.
Yeah. I mean, preparing really this late in the season for me is, at this point, I've been in contention a couple times lately, and I'm just trying to rest. A lot of guys may be in grind mode, but I actually have next week off as well, and just going to start it up in Greensboro. So I'm trying to get away from the game a little bit, try to stay in decent shape in the gym, and just get my mind off of it. I feel like golf can just really kind of take over your mind at these events, especially when you're in contention, and it's nice to get a good mental break for me personally.
Makes a lot of sense. And I'm also wondering, how much does it change? A guy like yourself, you've got a lot of experience now with the playoffs. I think this will be your 9th season in a row making it to the FedExCup Playoffs. So do you change much year over year, or do you kind of go in with a similar approach?
I've had some years where I go in and feel really not great about my game, and I've made it to the East Lake. And then some years I've gone in feeling pretty good and just haven't gotten a lot out of it. So it's just a tough game. And my biggest thing at this point in my career is I'm realizing is, and what I haven't done my first years on tour well, is just being consistent with how I practice and kind of my thought process going into every week. So my biggest thing right now is just don't change anything. It's easy because you're going to be exposed on the PGA Tour. These courses are so hard, and everybody's so good. So you're watching the best players play all the time, and you're playing the hardest courses. So if you're a little off, it's easy for me personally to want to question my game and maybe try to make a change to make it a little better, instead of just saying, my game's really good, let's make a small tweak, let's put a little extra practice in here or there. But mainly I want to just try to kind of just be ready to grind for 72 holes week in and week out and just play the game.
Yeah, and I would imagine there's definitely that temptation. I remember earlier in the season we heard Rory talking about it, where he was kind of chasing a little bit more distance after seeing like what Bryson was doing, and then afterwards he said how that kind of derailed him a bit. So, no doubt, especially when your game is in a good place, like you're saying, where you are right now. And we'll talk about it more in a second, but we saw some really strong finishes. So you're saying it's just kind of stay there and stay the course type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just want to make sure on my off weeks I'm putting in 3 or 4 days a week where I'm kind of touching all the bases with every part of my game, just having some good structure in what I'm doing. And if I feel like I've touched all the bases, that gives me confidence, but I also don't want to overdo it. And then staying strong in the gym. I feel like that's been the biggest key for me the last couple of years, to where I feel like for the entire tournament, I'm able to maintain better focus and not have any pain as well. So that's what happens when you get to your 30s. You start having little tweaks and stuff when you've been turning the same way for the last, 31 years of my life. Got to start exercising a little more.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about equipment, because I know a lot of people are wondering, especially with the new Titleist irons, which I want to get your take on in a second. But first, can you just take us through where you're at right now? What's in the bag?
Yes. So I'm playing Pro V1X golf ball. Playing the Titleist T12 Scotty Cameron putter. I call it the Batman putter.
Yeah.
Looks like kind of like Batman to me. I always play with a blade. Just growing up with like a long neck blade, and I went to this mallet last year, and I just love how it feels. I love how it looks, and so it's been a little better for me.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the motivation there? If you had something so long that was kind of working, what was the motivation to even test and try something different?
Well, I was putting terrible.
Gotcha.
I was putting terrible, super inconsistent. I mentally was just kind of lost on my approach to putting, and I just was like, I'm just going to change it up and do something different. And I'm pretty stubborn with that. Like, you'll see guys change the claw and all that. And I've never changed grips or anything with my putting, but I just needed to change. And funny, I went and tested a bunch of putters just by myself one day here in Columbus, Georgia, and for some reason, when I set up to that putter, it just felt so much more comfortable, and I felt like every ball came off the face. It was just like a nice roll. So I was just kind of like, well, let's do it. And the first week I changed to it, I putted better, not amazing. I putted much better, and was in contention at Riviera, so it was good.
Gotcha. All right, good to know. Sorry, I interrupted there too. What drive are you gaming right now? What other clubs in the
TSI 3 driver. Same with the 3-wood, the new 3-wood, and newest hybrids too. So I'm playing pretty much all the newest stuff at that end of the bag. But TSI 3 driver has just been it's been great. I've gained a little bit of distance with this head, and I feel like it's really solid and a little bit more forgiving. I was in the TS4 driver, and it was really nice, a little better launch for me, the right spin, but it wasn't quite as forgiving as this one. So I feel like I'm getting a little more speed with this one, and it's more forgiving. So I'm really enjoying it.
Russell, you actually answered my next question, which was kind of the opposite of switching to a mallet because the other one wasn't working. What happens when something is working so great and, you're just loving it? Is it what goes into a fitting? I guess the right question is that would have to really blow your mind. What's the aha moment that would make you up to that next line of clubs from, say, Titleist now, to make because I do see some guys who won't make the switch.
Right. And the new T-Series irons that you just hit. Just hit a couple weeks ago. So seeing some guys switch and some guys hang back a bit.
Yeah. I'm not a switch guy, typically. And I'm a switch guy if I see a pattern of something I don't like, and I'll switch. So that's originally why I switched. And I think, yeah, I mean, for me, I think we're just very particular and weird as golfers. Like something might not even be better, but we think it's better because it feels different than another club that was maybe creating a shot every once in a while that we didn't like. So it's kind of like, for me, it's like, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm just not seeing a shot I don't like as much, so I'm going to go with this one. So that's kind of like, for me, how it works. But Titleist has been so fun and so easy for me to change clubs with. I just feel like their options are really, really solid and really simple. And the guys, everybody I've gotten to work with to fit me with the clubs, it's a pretty simple process. And I feel like looking down at everything, I'm like, it looks pretty good. So I haven't had anything that's been like difficult really for me to change with Titleist.
Have you dabbled and tested the new irons at this point yet on this off week or any other event?
So I just got my irons in last week, and this is the start of my second week of 3 weeks off. And I've told myself I'm not picking up a club yet. So I actually was texting with Larry yesterday. He's like, how are the new irons? And I was like, I have not hit them yet, but I'm going to this week. And I got to get a little bit more of a break. But
yeah,
they look great. I was actually hanging out with Blaine Barber here the other day. And he came into town. Our wives are friends, and we had a little double date. And he was looking at the irons. He hadn't hit them yet. And he was just like, man, these look good. Do you mind if I take these? I was like, no. It's mine.
It's quick to ask, take them with them.
Exactly.
And that's the reason I asked, is because I see too a lot of players we've been following. We had Lonto on the show recently. Some of these guys are really digging the new ones. So, but on the same token, certainly understand, especially with your busy schedule, the desire to take a little bit of a break every once in a while from it. But speaking of,
sorry, not to cut you off, Russell, I got to ask though, because speaking of Lonto, before you came on the show, I messaged Aaron Dill. And I was like, Aaron, do you have any good wedge stamping stories from Russell? And he's like, no, Russell's not a big stamper. So I didn't get any of that. So you're not a stamp wedge guy?
I don't know. I've just never really cared to do anything like that. I don't know. I mean, I see tons of guys doing stuff like that, and I always pick them. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. But
it's just not part of your game. Got it.
I just never really, I've never really cared. And also, I'm like, if I ask you to start doing this, that's extra time that you have to spend worrying about my wedge.
Right.
So I ask him for a lob wedge about every month and a half. So, I mean, it'd be a lot of stamping. But, actually recently I said, hey, how can we just have a better idea to know, so I know how long I've had each of these wedges. So he actually stamped the date on these last 4 wedges.
There you go.
That's a new one, but I haven't given Aaron too much stuff yet.
That's cool. So you get to born on date.
Yeah, there you go.
All
born
right.
on date.
That's good.
Exactly.
We'll take
it. All right, so switching gears, talking a little bit more about the season again. One thing that was interesting, the PGA at Kiawah, a bit of a home game for you. I know, like that's an area you know very well. So I was wondering, what did you think about the way they had the course set up for the PGA, the longest in major history? What was your thinking?
I loved it. I thought it was a great setup. I thought it was firm. It was the greens were nice speed. They weren't too fast. They definitely weren't slow. The wind was really the toughest part. But obviously, it wasn't the toughest part. The whole course is really tough. But the wind, a lot of holes made it really tough. I mean, 18, the second day, I hit as good and hard and solid of a drive as I can hit. And then I hit as good and solid of a 3-wood as I can hit. And I made it to pin high, and it was a par 4. So it was really, really long sometimes. And, it was fair, but it was a challenge. And I putted poorly that week. I didn't hit it terrible. I didn't hit it my best. The first day kind of got me behind the 8 ball. But, I thought it set up great. I enjoyed the challenge.
Do you get to play the Ocean course much? I know you're a country club of Charleston guy, but do you play the Ocean much, just as practice?
Yeah, I've been in Columbus, Georgia the last 2 years, but I lived in Charleston for 7 years and played River and Cacique mainly and Country Club of Columbus. And Country Club of Charleston. But I didn't play the Ocean Course much. It was a little bit farther out, and I didn't really have privileges out there. So I just and it seemed like there was a lot of play.
Mm-hmm.
But I played it a few times and always really liked being out there. So obviously just a gorgeous place and just really enjoyed being in Charleston. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a great spot. And speaking of majors, you had a real strong run at the U.S. Open this year. You held the share of the lead at different points throughout the first 3 rounds. But what I found interesting is Torrey Pines. It's a place you don't have a lot of other PGA Tour experience. You know, so you had the one other time that you were out there years prior. So what was it there? What clicked? What was it that you kind of attribute some of that great play to?
Yeah. You know, I felt like mentally I was in a really good place that week. Didn't really feel like I had to play well. Didn't really feel like I had to have it. And I think it was definitely firmer than the last. I mean, last time I played was 2014, so 7 years ago, and it was definitely much firmer. And I feel like that played into advantage for me. Because I feel like that all of a sudden makes it more of a ball control place. And each bombing it still always helps, obviously. And you look, a lot of the guys who bomb it played great that week. But, you know, for me, I feel like ball striking is a part of my game I feel confident in, and ball control. And so I felt like I didn't have to be perfect, but I felt like I was rewarded for hitting the ball on the correct side of the hole, which I feel like I did a lot. And I think I felt like confident because I kind of felt like that was my game plan. So it was good.
I mean, Russell, is it for tour players, if you do well at a course that you haven't been at in a while and you do well, is it an automatic like, hey, next year we're going to slot in the Farmers and get back there? Or doesn't work like that in your head?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like I never play well in the desert the second week. I think I've maybe made $2,000 there total in all the times I played. But maybe made like 1 or 2 cuts. So maybe I do need to switch to Torrey. But last time I played Torrey, it was just kind of cold and it was long and I was hitting it terrible. And I didn't like the greens. And I remember shot 79 on the South course and I was like, I got to get out of here. So, I feel much better about my entire game now compared to then. So that's definitely something I will consider. But I just don't think it's going to play the same as the U.S. Open. I mean, it was firm and it was fast, and it just on TV it looks soft to me for that event. So I have to think about it. But I think if you start seeing a little success, yeah, you're right. I think guys are going to want to sneak back out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you? Forgive me if this is wrong, but did you have the lead going into Sunday? Tied?
I did. Yep, tied for the lead, and made a putt on 18 Sunday for par to save par. Had one of the worst layups of my life. I hit it in the rough with an 8-iron out of the bunker, and had to basically chip to the side of the green and got it up and down. So, I feel like I handled the pressure really well. I led the tournament Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and never done that before in a major. So I was really excited to kind of be in the last couple groups, the last 2 days of a major. Never thought I would do that. I was in the last group on Saturday, second to last on Sunday. Just making some good strides towards some great golf in my career. So that was really cool. And Sunday I didn't finish well at all and struggled on the greens, but I really feel like I handled the pressure of it better than I thought I would. And, I'm excited to do it again. Hopefully I can keep playing well and have another good major finish.
I mean, I just wonder what that feeling's like. I mean, I think it was Danny Berger recently who said leading a golf tournament is like having a heart attack on every hole. I mean, I can't imagine Sunday at a major, I mean, that's got to be some type of feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing with Rory on Sunday and everybody goes pretty crazy for him. And it was cool to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And Rory's so great to play with. He was so nice. And, it was just a cool experience. I mean, I was definitely nervous, but it wasn't like I was the only one leading. I think there was 2 other guys tied with me. So that helped a little bit. But I didn't really care how I finished. I just wanted to just be in the mix one time, and I was, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's got to be a cool feeling. And you joked earlier where you said, getting older, got to work out more, but you're still a young guy. You still got a lot ahead of you. But still a really great career already in this almost decade on the PGA Tour. So it makes me wonder, what is it as far as what do you look forward to? What is it that keeps you kind of motivated, and what's in that kind of next chapter of your career? What are you looking to do? What are some of the accomplishments you really want to tick off?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's kind of what you're always doing as a golfer, is evaluating kind of where you are and where you want to go, and just how you're going to do it. And that's kind of the fun part of our job, is you get to do that. So for me right now, I feel like I've let some of these tournaments go lately a little bit, which has been tough to sleep on. But there's something very encouraging about it, is I feel like I'm not doing anything crazy to put myself in contention. I feel like I'm just playing kind of my basic game that I know how to play. And obviously you have to do a lot of things correctly and go your way to win on the PGA Tour, which I haven't done in a few years. But to be kind of close and finishing in the top 10 a lot, and finishing close to the top 10 and being in contention, which I feel like I've been doing, I feel like you have to be doing everything pretty well. And I feel like I am doing everything pretty well. Not perfect every week. There's obviously some weeks where I just don't putt well or I don't chip well. But overall, my overall game, I feel really good about. And that's encouraging to me, and tells me that I've been putting the right work in the right places, because I'm able to do it on different courses all over, and at different, different courses and different tournaments. So that's been good. And going forward, I truly believe I'm a top 50 player in the world. I know I'm capable of that. Now, will I ever get there? Golf's a crazy game. Who knows? I mean, I've gone through years where I just really struggle with putting, or just anxiety about the game, or lose confidence. And that's just kind of, part of it, I guess. But I feel like I'm close this time around. I'm excited to take that next step. I'm hoping to keep playing well and have some better finishes, and finish the season off strong and maybe jump in there. I feel like I'm somewhat of a, I actually have a chance to be in contention at some majors. But my first few years on tour, I never really had the full game. My ball striking was a little off, and wedge play maybe wasn't as good, and putting was kind of streaky. And now I'm starting to kind of feel like I have a lot of the tools that are necessary to give myself a chance a little more consistently. So my next goal would be in the top 50 in the world. I feel like I can go up high in that if I do what I'm capable of doing, and contend to more majors. And I'd just love to make a President's Cup or Ryder Cup team. Now, winning the FedEx Cup or making the Tour Championship is my goal every year. But making one of those teams, kind of tells me that I've been doing something right for a while, and at a high level. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So, Russell, just before we let you go, a couple more things. Some of our audience may not know this about you, but you're an avid guitarist. And I love that, because I personally have played guitar for 25 years, being 38. I picked up the guitar when I was 13. I actually love it more than golf. I'm going to say that out loud here on the podcast. Now, I seen you had the opportunity to jam with OAR. You had Darius Rucker, who I'm completely jealous with. That's a guy I've always wanted to meet. And I actually watched a video of you on stage. I mean, you looked a little nervous. I would be too. But what was that experience like?
Yeah, I've actually played with Keith Urban as well. So for
awesome.
somebody who's terrible at guitar like me, I've gotten pretty lucky. Playing with Darius, it was pretty easy actually. I know him from Charleston, and I asked him in the Pro-Am at the RSM one year. He was playing in front of me, and I just asked him if he wanted to bet. And after about the 12th hole, he yelled back, he's like, "I give up," and it was pretty easy win. It was a pretty tough day out there. But I just said, okay, instead of paying me, just let me play a song with you tonight. And he was like, all right. So I got to go to his bus, and we went over the song and played it together. And Darius is he's always been really nice and fun to hang out with. And, that was a really cool experience for me, because I really like Darius. I love his music. And to just be able to play golf with him some and hang with him some was cool in Charleston. And he's just a really nice guy. So that was awesome. And then OAR, played with him in LA and on the range at Riviera actually, and got to meet all those guys. They sent me the songs a couple months in advance so I could learn them. And that was really cool. They gave me a cool electric guitar to play, turned it up loud. I actually could hear what I was playing. And
I was going to ask you that because if I was that nervous on stage, I'd be the guy to turn it all the way to 0 and just pretend at that point.
Oh, yeah. The songs I yelled over at Mark, and I was like, "Hey, I can't hear it," and he just walked over to my amp and just turned it all the way up.
There you go.
Like, you might not want to do it, but it was really cool. And that was a phase of my life where I didn't have as much going on as I do now. And I travel with the guitar. Now I have 2 kids and I'm married, and that's kind of what I focus on. But those were some cool times.
You just summed up both of our lives right there.
We know that feeling.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unbelievable. Well, a lot of our young golfers, speaking of young audience, they listen to our podcast, and I'm sure many of them, they hope to aspire to get to the PGA Tour or high level one day. So what would be your advice to give those guys and girls to hope to make it out on tour?
Yeah. I feel like playing in as many tournaments as you can is so important because, shooting the course record at your home course is one thing, but going out and putting 4 rounds together is another thing, and doing it under pressure and doing it on courses you haven't seen before, and doing it when you don't sleep that well, and when you're having rain delays, and they're saying your next tee time's at 6:10 in the evening, and you got to go play 7 holes before it gets dark. You got to be ready to play at any time, anywhere, at a high level. And so the only way you really get to that point, I think, is playing a ton of tournaments, and that way you're going to get exposed to what you need to work on. And then I would tell you to go to work and stick to your game plan, because whatever gets you to play well, I think, is hard to find. And I would make minor tweaks and not feel like you got to change your game. But I feel like experience is more important than any change you're going to have in your game to a point. And so tournament experience, I feel like, is the most important thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Get that competition.
No doubt. Really solid advice. And listen, Russell, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Enjoy the what little bit of rest you do have left. And at some point, I'm sure we'll have to check in with you again when you do get a chance to try some of the new equipment. I'd love to get your take on that. But in the meantime, best of luck with the rest of the season. FedExCup is going to be kicking off before we know it, the playoffs here. So we wish you the best of luck. And, of course, achieving those goals we talked about, getting to that top 50 in the world. As you said, your game's in a great place. We love hearing that, and we're going to be pulling for you hard.
Thanks so much. This was fun. I enjoyed chatting with y'all. Hopefully we can do it again, and hopefully we'll be talking about a win or something next time.
There you go. That's what we like to see. All right, Russell, thank you again, and I'm sure we'll chat with you soon. All right, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Always great when we get the PGA Tour players on the show. I know week in and week out, we talk a lot about our own experience as amateur golfers. But of course, what amateur golfer hasn't at least at one time dreamed of playing at the highest level and just like to view things through their eyes, get a little bit of their, perspective on things. Mm-hmm. Not to mention just the fact that we're just fans. Yeah. Enjoy watching them week in and week out. Yeah. So it's always great when we get the opportunity. We're going to have some more tour players coming up on the show real soon. Hey, if any of your favorite tour players, if you want to have them on the show, let us know. Let us know who you'd like to see more of. You can drop it in the comments. You can put it in the Facebook group. You can DM us directly on social at Golficity, because we love to hear your feedback. And this show is really for you guys. We want to know what you want to hear, and we'll do it here on the show. But before we let everyone go, can't stop but remind one more time, the Golficity Virtual Open. In fact, you and I are going to be playing our round real soon.
That's right. And by the time this drops, we probably already logged it. So if you're listening to this, check the leaderboard out. See where we ended up.
Or maybe don't.
No,
but we always have fun with it. And no matter where, like I said, no matter where you score, it's fun to do. And it's kind of in its way a way we can kind of bring our own little taste of the tour, because how many other times are you going to get the opportunity to see yourself live on a leaderboard? Like the tour players get to do. And it's cool because the way that the app works with 18 birdies is you enter your score hole by hole as you go, and you actually see yourself moving up and down relative to the other people on the leaderboard. So I always enjoy that. And I think I didn't mention this at the top of the show, but I'll mention it here. It's completely free. So we even made sure with the 18 Birdies app, you can do it with the free version. There's no premium required. There's no entry fee. The only thing this is going to cost you is your greens fees wherever you decide to play. So all excuses, again, like I said, are off the table. Register at golficity.com/open to get in there and play. Again, big thanks to our special guest, Russell Henley, for joining us today. I'm interested to see how he fares in the playoffs this year. We're rooting for him. We're going to be pulling for him hard.
Let's see. Hope big things at East Lake.
No doubt about it. All right. We'll see everybody again next week, and get to the show notes by going to golficity.com or in the Golficity app. And we'll see you guys again next week.